Good evening, everyone. Let me start with a sobering fact. Gang violence and crime impact thousands of Americans every single day. According to the Department of Justice, there are over 20,000 gangs in the United States. Combined, they include around 1 million members, men, women, and children, actively involved in gang-related activity. These gangs operate in all 50 states, the District of Columbia, and even in U.S. territories. When people think about gangs, they picture crime-ridden inner cities or parts of Los Angeles from the movies, but that's no longer accurate. Today, gang activity is everywhere in suburbs, rural communities, and even on the online space. Your neighborhood might feel safe, but it can still be affected. Gang crime is not just an urban issue anymore, it's an American issue. I've spent the past 10 years in law enforcement. I've worked in 2 gang units and 1 narcotics unit. I currently serve as an investigator on a specialized gang unit. I've also been called to testify as an expert witness in court for gang-related crimes. In that time, I've sat across from gang leaders, visited crime scenes, spoken with grieving families, and watched neighborhoods change for better and for worse. For all that, I've learned above all, proactive gang units save lives. Today I want to walk you through three key points: the origins of modern street gangs, how gangs operate behind the scenes, and how proactive gang units help fight crime and protect our communities. Most people are familiar with Crips and Bloods, 2 of the most notorious gangs in America. The groups originated in Los Angeles during the late 1960s and 70s. At the beginning, they were violent organizations we know today. They started out claiming to protect their neighborhoods, but that quickly changed when they saw opportunities for power, money, and control. The Crips formed first, then came the Bloods, originally in response meaning to protect themselves from the Crips, but eventually both groups dove deep into drug trafficking, assault, armed robberies, and homicide. They fought for territory, they fought over respect. Sometimes a simple social media post could spark a real-life violence that ends with someone dead. Violence becomes not just a tool, but part of the identity. The same pattern has been repeated all over the country. How gangs operate. Now, despite what TV and movies sometimes show, gangs aren't disorganized. In fact, they have a strict hierarchy, like a small version of organized crime families. They're usually a leader at the top, followed by lieutenants, soldiers, and sometimes low-level recruits. They often operate like a business, just built on criminal activity. Many gangs collect monthly dues from their members. In order to pay them, members often have to commit crimes, selling drugs, breaking into cars, running fraud schemes. Some gangs even have bylaws. I've seen rules that require members to always carry weapons or drugs, meaning they are constantly putting themselves and others at risk. There are also known gang codes, colors, hand signs, it's what we call stacking, and graffiti that mark territory and show allegiance. This isn't random violence, it's organized, strategic, and dangerous. So why gang units matter? Unlike regular patrol officers who respond to 911 calls, gang unit officers focus specifically on gang-related crimes and individuals. They don't just wait for crime to happen, they go out and try to prevent it. These officers are trained to read between the lines. They recognize the difference between a fight and a turf war. They can spot gang graffiti, identify hand signs, track gang alliances, and connect shootings that seem unrelated. More importantly, they build relationships with the community, with informants, even with gang members themselves. That's how they gather intel, stop retaliations, and solve crimes. So let me give you a quick example. When I first joined the force, I worked in neighborhoods where street corners were filled with dealers and shootings happening almost every night. Some residents had gotten so used to it they stopped calling 911. Once our proactive gang unit got established and started putting in the work, the corners began to empty out. People could walk their dogs again. People felt safe letting their kids play outside. Shootings went from nightly events to even rare occurrences. That's what happens when you interrupt the cycle of violence. Even after arrest, our work isn't done. We follow up, we dig deeper, and often we uncover leads that solve cold cases, sometimes murders that have happened months or years before. These connections would have been missed by other patrol or the units focused on general crime. So today, we've covered origins of street gangs, how the gangs function, and how proactive gang units can help protect the communities. Gang violence isn't just about drugs and guns, but about real people. Families being torn apart, kids recruited before they even finish middle school, communities living in fear. But with the right people, the right training, the right support, we can fight back. And this is my visual aid.